Let me see this.
and like sent to the company. And they don't just like take one photo and like turn it into a Simpsons. They actually draw it up. Like you notice I got New Balances on.
New Balances are hard.
I got the Hurley shirt on.
Hurley shirts.
See my tattoo, my Gucci
You
tattoo.
have like tights on. Look at his shoes.
Oh yeah. And he's doing the male duck face. That
Yeah.
that wink with the tongue out.
Bro.
The tongue wink. Yeah, that's what you send to your girl. It's like the photo.
That's a cool gift. My kids got me
It is
one
a cool gift.
where like I look like a Super Saiyan, Dragon Ball Z.
That's dope.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I wish I would have brought it, man. I could have put this.
Dave, she made you bald. How you feel about that?
I mean, I'm not bald. I shaved my head. I didn't even notice it.
He said, I'm not bald. I shaved my head. Okay. So everybody, episode 35, Flagler Weekly. We are here.
2024.
Definitely, man. The new year. It's already started off a good year for me. I hope it started off a good year for everybody. I'm John, and this is my co-host, Dave. And today we have Steven, the Florida mortgage guy. What's up, boss? How you doing?
I'm good, thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem,
Welcome,
no problem, man. We appreciate you coming. And man, I'm gonna tell you, I love your content.
I appreciate it.
And you're funny. It's like you're serious. You're funny, but at the same time, it's like you understand the internet.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the people there's a lot of older people in Palm Coast, and you can get that advantage just through the internet. It's crazy.
Man. You got to be a chameleon. You got to know a little bit about everything and not a lot about one thing.
Right. So let's just, before we get into, I want to learn more about you. But how is 2024 going for you?
2024 so far is great. Made a move to a new mortgage company, Win Mortgage, here in Flagler Beach. So if you guys want to come see us, we're right on the corner of 4th Street and Ocean Shore Boulevard, 316 South Ocean Shore Boulevard. But not only that, man, just trying to open up my heart, get closer to Christ, be a better servant to our community. Got a couple mission trips planned up, got a couple community events planned up. Also, our nonprofit Operation 22, we got a lot of veterans we're going to be helping this year. Got a pool that's almost done being built. That's part of that content.
I see that. I see that. You're and that's your pool?
Yeah, that's my pool. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Ortiz pools and construction. They've been great. I've changed the plans on.
Shout out Ortiz Pool and Construction.
Yep. You like that plug?
Mm-hmm. And so, how long have you been living in the Flagler County area?
We moved here about 4 years ago from Nashville.
Okay.
We had a house built, and it was kind of an accident. I was working for Discount Tire, and they wanted me to move down to Florida, help out with some stores here, and I loved it. But it was like right during COVID. People were just a little bit different. For 2 years, man, I feel like all humanity was lost. And then
it was crazy. It's crazy we're on like the other side of it.
Yeah. And then the guy who did my mortgage, his name is Andrew Cady. He's with U Mortgage, Epic Mortgage Team. That guy's amazing. He asked me, why don't you do mortgages? He's like, dude, you got the personality for it. You're cool. You're really down to earth. He's like, you should get out there. It's all relationship building. You would be fantastic at it. And I was like, dude, I'm great with math. Perfect. And I tried it. And in the first month, I was just doing it part-time, and I made more money in my first month doing it than I did working 6 months at Discount Tire.
So how do you, not exactly how do you make money? Because I feel like you can answer that question too, but like, how do you get into it? Do they give you people who are?
That's what I wanted to know, because you said you just jumped in like part-time. Was there like a state test or? Yeah,
there's a state test for it. It's called the NMLS Safe Exam. It's one of the hardest tests that you could take. As far as business tests, a lot of math involved. That's not the hard part. It's trying to learn all the regulations and laws that go along with it. So once you get into, or once you grab your license, you find somewhere you want to hang your license at. And then I recommend going with a brokerage instead of a direct lender, because with a brokerage, you're able to offer your customers like plenty of different opportunities, multiple different mortgage programs. Where at a lender, you're stuck with just going to one person, so you can't really shop the rates for.
So they also wanted to ask you, like, what is a mortgage broker?
So
like like when you go to a car dealership, like the salesman sells you the car,
Right.
and then you go to the finance guy, and he's like shopping all the different banks to get you sold.
Right.
Is that pretty much what you do, but with houses?
That's exactly what I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we use a program that allows us to shop multiple different lenders, and we're partnered with over 100 lenders that we could go through and start shopping, and we could try and find you the best rate. We can try and find you the best cash to close. We can really tailor make a mortgage to fit what's best for you to get you into a house at that time. And if you're a first-time home buyer, there's programs for you. If you're an investor, programs for you. So being a mortgage broker, you're just able to broker through all of these different lenders.
Okay. So you get to deal with everybody, all the different real estates, and that's like some of the relationships is you got to be cool with all the different real estate agents so they come to your company.
That's exactly
And also
right.
all the banks too, right? So you got to
That's
broker the relationships.
That's right, and it's hard to build relationships with everybody. The one thing I have learned is that you're not meant for everybody. So you have to either become a chameleon, like you were saying. I know a lot of different people. I'm the type of person that can adapt to just about any person's vibe, and I love that about me. But I'm still not everybody's cup of tea. So for some people that don't want to work with me, I don't push it on them. There's plenty of people on our team that they could go work with. I just really want my business to grow. So having people to come onto my business is important. We got several people: Danielle, Rick Vaders. They're amazing. So if I'm not your cup of tea, just go use one of those guys.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Because it's like there's enough to go around.
Absolutely.
You're not like trying to have any animosity with anybody. It's like, I don't want to say it's not that serious, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for people to. I don't really like those people who kind of like almost like take personal feelings into like the business atmosphere. It's kind of weird a little bit to me.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. We're licensed in multiple states, but in just Florida alone, 500,000 families moved to Florida last year.
Wow.
That's a 2% increase of the entire state of Florida. There's plenty of work to go around for us not to, be pushy and things like that. But, we never really having a negative vibe. That's something we definitely don't do in our office. We love being positive, man, helping other people out, helping other companies out. There's some people in the business that I mentor. There's other people like Andrew Cady from U Mortgage that mentors me. Rob Flores and Joy Flores from Flow Mortgage mentor me a little bit. And then, Rick over at Win Mortgage, he's a mentor to me. Keith Evans from Equity Prime Mortgage, he mentors me as well. So I have relationships with other people in my field, because I've got to learn at some point. I mean, you asked the question, like, how did I get into it? Leads don't just get given to you in the broker world. You got to make friends with realtors, earn their trust, have them send you people. And as far as customers out in the world, you do those funny TikToks, man. If you want to jump on and
that's awesome
and apply. So,
so now I'm 35 years old. You said you're about to turn 35. So my question is kind of like, I feel like back in the day, people, were buying houses like pretty young and stuff. Now, do you feel like it's almost, a lot of people are feeling down, like they can't buy a home, like it's almost impossible. People keep talking about, they tell you buy a home and all this stuff, but if you're really looking at it, it's like you have to make $102,000 or something like that, and then you have to do this, and then now even if you buy a home, your mortgage is gonna be like $3,000 a month compared to other people who are like paying $800, and it's like.
Well, do you think, because you just said that like what 2% of Florida population grew?
Yeah.
So is it like a sweet time right now?
Yeah,
Because of that?
It's perfect. First of all, it's always a good time to buy, especially if you're renting. It's always.
I'm gonna say it right now, because this is definitely the show where we're gonna say it, but it's like Dave, you can't ask a car salesman when it's a good time to buy a car. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I'm saying like
right
it's like,
now.
oh, I'm making this money right now, but like
Okay, I'll
because,
tell you
like,
what. I'll explain it to you, and then you ask the car salesman.
But that kind of like juxtaposes with his question. Like he's saying like younger people and people in Florida feel like they can't really afford a house, but you got all these people moving to Florida that are buying the houses. So maybe like you're seeing like, yeah, it's sweet, all these people are moving here, but like to the Florida people, it's kind of like, man, the prices are just crazy right now.
Perfect. Let's debate. All right.
They took our job.
All right.
Yeah.
Check this
that's
out.
just,
People who are renting right now, I want everyone to buy, not only for my business but for your personal growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're renting. Or do you rent or own?
No, I don't rent.
You rent?
No rent, yeah.
Okay. How much is your rent?
This rent here is $2,100.
$2,100. You can own a house for that. You might not be able to own this house for that.
Yeah.
But you can own a house for that, right? So here's the thing, and here's why it's important. You're throwing $2,100 away every single month. You could go rent somewhere else with your mortgage being $2,100, and then you're putting equity back in your house. You're paying yourself back to live. Right now, you're paying some other dude's mortgage.
Yeah.
You're paying for somebody else to get rich.
Yeah. I feel like I can't get a house though.
Why not?
Well, because I'm like a single dad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I make like, okay, maybe around like, probably like 60 a year, call it.
Okay.
That's just not enough money. Like, I feel like
To qualify.
to qualify. I mean, I've been on my job for 7.5 years, but I don't have 20 grand saved up. Like,
So
you know, I don't have it.
here's the requirements to be able to buy a house. The loan might not be easy with certain people with challenge credit, but you can get loans all the way down to 550 credit score.
I mean, my credit, I'll tell you right now, is like 725, call it.
725, 60 grand a month. If you're not piled up in debt, you could purchase a house today. Especially if you get a good real estate agent who's going to go out and fight for you to get seller concessions so that you can buy the rate down and make the house more affordable for you. You could go buy a house. And I think that's the problem with the world today is everyone thinks that you have to be a millionaire. You have to make 100 grand and you don't.
You know, I owned a house before. I bought a house in 2006.
Yeah.
My first house I bought, that was like during the prime mortgage thing or whatever. So everybody,
When rates were higher than they are now.
were they higher then?
Yep.
Because I got, I was only 20, I was 25 at the time. And I got an ARM loan, which they were giving to everybody, the adjustable rates.
Right.
And it just went up. Then, me and my baby mama broke up. I left the house with her. And then I just haven't
So
been back in.
that was back in 07, 08. 07, 08. Are you doing better today than you were in 07, 08?
No. But legally, yes. I mean, honestly, yeah. I mean,
Yeah. So if you're
You're doing better.
yeah. But I mean,
Like not cash right. That doesn't mean
do I have
anything.
more money? No.
But you're doing better though.
Yeah.
your bills are paid, right?
Yeah.
You're doing great, man. But again, the requirements, are not as hard as everybody thinks. To do an FHA mortgage, it's I like them 580 or better. 580 credit score. If you don't have money to put down, there's down payment assistance programs. Your mortgage might be a little higher if you take that down payment assistance program, but then you just refinance in 6 months or after 6 payments, and then you lower your mortgage. I try and tell everybody, the rates are high, and this is why it is more important to buy a house instead of rent, because everyone's going to wait. You buy the house right now, in several months you can refinance when the rates do drop. But if you wait to buy a house, right now just 1, 2, 3 people are just trickling in to buy houses because they're like, oh, rates are crazy. But what's going to happen when rates do drop, like the Fed said that they were? Everybody's going to buy. And then now you're back to competing for the house. Right now you can go to the guy selling the house across the street and say, hey, man, I want to buy your house, but I want $15,000 in seller concessions. He's going to say, okay.
That's
in
true.
6 months.
My sister just bought a house too, and they no closing costs, and she like kind of made some demands, and they met him.
In 6 months, when he's trying to sell the house, and then he wants those concessions, he's gonna be like, I'm gonna hear other offers first.
And also too, once the rates go back up, do you think the house prices are going to start going back up too? And with that being said, have they fallen slightly over the past year?
The housing prices have went down very little, but they're staying pretty steady. But they're dropping. They might have dropped like 1 or 2%. I'm not a real estate person. That's not my job. But I do watch the rates like a hawk, and those have definitely dropped.
Because I know about like 3 years ago, the prices just jumped way high because my sister bought a house for like 150 and then it's probably worth 350 now. Like all the houses are like 350. It's a
Right.
pretty big house, you know, but I feel like she got it like another sister. I got several, but I feel like she got it right before everything just shot up and then it's kind of like leveled off. So you say they have dropped slightly.
Let me
Not a ton, but I mean they have dropped slightly.
Yeah.
let me ask this question, and this is it's for me. I'm not gonna act like I really know everything. You know what I mean? Especially in the mortgage realm of real estate, where I feel like what I'm trying to make my specialty is the remodeling aspect of it. But why? This is for everybody, and I appreciate everybody watching it. We have about 8 people watching right now, but well, now, anyways. If you can share this podcast, please. We have the Florida mortgage guy in here answering all of our questions about mortgages and real estate and all that stuff. But why do rates go up and down? Like, what causes that? Like, it's like daily.
There's a lot. So inflation messes with the rates. The amount of inventory that is out there, which is the number of houses that are out there for sale, that fluctuates with it. Jobs, the amount of jobs that are, oddly enough, when unemployment is worse, rates go down. When people are working, they pump the rates up a little bit. So it's a weird world, man.
Did you see that one chick in like Seattle that's telling all the kids to quit their jobs?
No.
Not work. It's like a mass exit or something. They're calling it. They're like, yo, let's just all quit and just. They're just like looting Seattle and stuff like that's crazy.
I think Seattle's.
That's
been
not
watching
happening
it.
in Florida. No.
I mean, Seattle's where they had the chop, isn't it?
Yeah.
There was the Chad and the chop.
Seattle's got one good thing, that's coffee. And speaking of, this coffee you made's pretty good, dude.
Heck yeah.
Dave's
Thank you.
French press.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I have 2 different situations that I want to speak on, and I'm gonna say them both just so hopefully somebody remembers. The first one is my mom has like equity in her property, but I feel like we might not meet either the credit score or certain qualifications to pull that money out to like pay stuff off, fix up the house and stuff like that. What do you think like is a main situation with that? Like, I feel like I've seen a lot of people that I've spoken to where they have money, they have equity in the property, but they can't even take it out.
Yeah. So there's again, Taylor making loans for every person. We got to get deeper on that situation, but just from what you told me. So maybe mom's credit isn't that great, but you want to do some repairs and fix some things up. If her credit score is, over 580, preferably a 600 for that, cash out refi or that home equity line of credit to fix her stuff.
Do you think it's just the number, or does it also go to say like
Debt income.
debt to income, or like because she's on like a fixed income because she's like retired now?
The debt to income is definitely gonna be a factor into that. But there's some people that will do what's called a hard money loan for somebody in your mom's situation. If there was an avenue for her to, like in her situation, if I'm helping her and I'm you, and I know my work ethic, I'm going to help her fix her house. And then while she's fixing her house, I'm going to get that hard money loan. And then I'm going to work on her credit. So then I can refinance her and pay that hard money loan back.
All right, so break that down one more time because we were thinking about that. It's kind of that situation, but can you break it down a little bit more on what you said?
Yeah. So in this situation,
When you said work ethic, you were speaking about me?
right.
Okay.
Yeah. So, your mom's credit's, not great.
Okay.
You want to get her some money.
Okay.
So there's some people out there that will do what's called a hard money loan.
Right.
It's typically an interest only loan with a balloon payment, like say at the end.
12%.
Yeah. Yeah. And the balloon payment, say at the end of like 2 years, something like that.
Yeah, I deal with that with like buying and fixing flipping properties.
Exactly. Same scenario. So you borrow the money to fix the house.
Okay.
So you're creating equity because you've made her house worth more by fixing it.
Okay.
Through that time, I know you're going to fix her house and it's going to look great. Through that time, you're going to have your mom work on her credit.
Okay.
Make sure her debt to income is less than 20-30%. 20% is going to get your score up there a lot quicker. Pay downs on some of her credit cards, things like that.
Okay.
And then she's going to pay that interest only loan for a couple months. That interest only hard money loan, the requirements on that are a lot less harsh than going to get a regular loan, but
So-
they have that higher interest rate.
So let me ask you this. So what you're kind of saying is get a loan to do the repairs on the property. It's not as much repairs, more of like upgrades she might want to make.
Right.
But like what she was more looking to do, and I don't know if it's possible, but she's like, all my problems would be solved if I could just take that money and then pay off my debts. And then I would have no debts. Then I'd have like zero debt and all this income that I could, you know what I mean?
So there's a company that I work with that does a no score refinance. So she does not have to have a credit score. What they're going to want to see though is they're going to want to see her make they're going to want to make sure that she's made her payments on time for at least the past 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Okay.
she's made her payments on time,
Mm-hmm.
her credit score is probably just down because her debt to income, because she's using a lot of debt. Her credit cards are probably not maxed out, but close to it, right?
I mean, to be honest, I don't exactly know her situation, but she's definitely taken some hits just through inflation and just,
Yeah.
my dad passing away and just a lot of different stuff.
Sorry to hear about that, man.
No, that's all good.
But there's still avenues for it, man. And that's the thing. When you work with a broker, they're able to find multiple different scenarios to try and work it out, and we'll do whatever we can, and then we'll let you know, hey, look, we're at a stopping point. We can't help you any further, but we have more options to look at.
Or these are
this hard
different
money
things that
loan.
you could do to get in a situation to move forward.
Right.
Some actionable items. Dope.
We'll talk about that more when we get off, so I can charge
Yeah.
up your mom.
The next situation is me personally, and I work for myself, but I just moved and I just started a new business. I was driving trucks during the pandemic, but then pandemic, pay cut, all that stuff. But I want to buy a property, but I feel like you have to have 2 years proof of income at like one situation. Is that 100% true? If my goal is to buy a multifamily property and then I want to use, the income from the other 3 units. And then my thing is, say if you're like, oh, I have to have a certain amount of income. It's like, well, that's the income right there.
I think
this
you can-
income is going to qualify for the mortgage.
I think you can use 75% of the income as your income.
If you currently have a rental property, then I could use 75% of that rental income as my income. But if you're using it to purchase, FHA, I put this down in here because I knew you were going to ask.
Definitely, because this is what I'm doing. I want to do this year, but I haven't had anything long enough. You know what I mean?
FHA has created a new rule where if you purchase a fourplex, duplex, triplex, something like that, you could use 50% of the scheduled rent
So it's 50%. Okay.
to purchase. 75 would be a purchase if you currently own it already. But if you don't own a property, right, and you're going to buy this as your primary, this is your primary residence.
Right.
You're going to live there, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
The other 3 units, when we do a 1007, which is a rent schedule, that'll tell us how much the average rent for those 3 units are. It can't be anything made up. It's going to be an appraiser looking at it.
So let's say it is like $2,000 a month.
Then you get, if the rents for those other 3 are only $2,000 a month, you get to use $1,000 of it. But if those other 3 are $2,000 per each one, it's $6,000. You get to use $3,000.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like each unit, because I want to get a fourplex in Orlando, and I'm gonna live in one, and then so 2,000. It's gonna be like a 2-2, which is like 2,000. We'll just say, and 2-2, so that's 6,000. So you said 3,000 a month is what I could show.
You could use for your income. Yes.
So now what's 3 times 12? 36, Dave.
Yeah.
So now my friend, he said I would have to show that I make like 120,000 to buy that property. Just off.
How much is the property?
Let's say 500,000.
500,000. Mm-hmm. You currently work now, right?
Yes.
Are you 1099 employee
So
or are you W-2?
I'm a W-2 employee. I work at my apartment complex, but then I also work for myself and own a junk removal and handyman business.
Okay.
And I Uber also. And it's crazy because I actually make like really good money Ubering. I make like $1,000 a week.
How long have you been Ubering?
Like 10 years, 9 years.
You can use your Uber money.
That's
So
nice.
we'll use the last 2 years of that. How long have you been doing the junk removal?
Like 6 months on the books.
6 months on the books,
Yeah, I worked at a company.
but you've been doing maintenance as well, right? Mm-hmm. So, and this is why working with a broker is better. All right, so that business that you just started, once you hit 1 year, because you have prior work history doing that, I can use 1 year off of that. I'll average 2 years off of the Uber, and then we'll take your W-2 income
Okay.
plus your rent,
Awesome.
and now we have your money. But then we have to chew up those debts, them credit scores, like we have to, see where your credit card's at. You want to keep those between 10 and 20%.
I'm honestly low. Like I've never really messed with credit cards. I have one that's like 1,500, you know what I mean? But I don't have it. I literally just paid off all my debt on my birthday.
Let me ask you this too, real quick, because me and I know him too. We both have student loan debt too.
Okay.
So,
are you guys in a payment program?
well, I'm not in default.
Neither one of you guys in default?
I'm not.
I'm gonna be honest, man. Okay, so this is a crazy situation. So,
Like a yes or no type question.
old Joey B, he said that like a lot of people's
Debts were going to be forgiven.
bro. So like I like looked at my stuff and it was like gone,
Yeah.
But
Let's go, Brandon.
right,
He moved it from Navient to 8 Advantage, I bet.
possibly because then she looks like she's back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They ain't go.
Yeah, mine went
So-
from Navient to 8 Advantage.
So you know what I mean. So I think I really need to get on that, but I'm kind of like, man, fuck student loans, but you can't say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
I'm in.
Here's the thing: it's a government debt. So if you're in default on it, the government's not going to lend you any money. So when you do Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac guidelines, which is the conventional way to purchase a home, you can't buy a home if you're in default with it.
So, but let's say I got.
You can get on a $5 a month payment plan, and
Yeah, because I'm in actually. I got all mine consolidated and took off like FAFSA or whatever, and they put it into like a payment,
Right.
income driven program. So my payment's zero.
perfect.
But I
Do what
still
he
have.
did.
I
Do
still
what he
have-
did.
I still have like there's like 65 grand though
Yeah.
on the books of debt. Is that like really going to kill
You-
my debt to income or
No,
no?
because what we do is we take the total amount, we multiply that by 0.5%, and that's what your monthly payment would be, and it is a hit. So if you had 60 grand, I'm trying to pull my calculator up, but it would be like $300 a month of that we would have to take out of your income.
by the end of this podcast, we're me in a 4-unit, Dave. That shit's hard.
Y'all can buy it together too.
No,
Heck no.
If it's a 4-unit,
no, no. No, I love Dave. This is the thing. He could live in one of them for free. You know what I mean? Yes.
which
But
what a real smart podcast dude would do is you guys would buy it together, right? He have his, you have yours. You rent out one to the podcast, right? And to the business. Let that pay for that. Write that money off, so that you're not paying taxes on your business. That's a lot of Trump and taxes going on.
yeah,
but,
I love it.
and then you rent out the other one, and then you have the income for the one.
Yeah, I love it.
I would do that in Flagler.
I would do it with you in Flagler, but I'm gonna do my first one in Orlando. You know what I mean?
Orlando's it's a hot commodity, man. Some of the best foods there. The population's wildly growing. There's always gonna be people there.
Yeah, I'm just out there for the real estate
Orlando's
stuff,
like
but
that.
I love Poncos.
And if you Airbnb'd one of those fourplexes, do you know how many people go to Disney every year?
So my plan was to live in one, rent 2 out, and then Airbnb one. So if my friends want to come out and stay, I could block it off for them and stuff. That's the goal. And then buy the next one in Atlanta.
Intelligent.
You know what's messed up? This is kind of off topic, but
Should've
I
go
was
to
talking
Nashville.
about like because I was looking at a building on like 9th North. It's 2 2-bedrooms, 2 1-bedrooms for 900 grand, but in Flagler Beach. So it's like 7 grand with the income. And then he's like, and I was like, oh, well, you can Airbnb one of them out. And then someone told me that all the Airbnbs in Flagler are grandfathered in. So if you don't already have an Airbnb that you're doing, you can't start a new one out here in Flagler.
Yeah, the only new ones now can be the ones in the commercial district, which is right there on the first part of A1A North.
I don't know if I want to speak about how I feel about that.
Call
Tell
Susie. Call Susie.
Why am I not allowed to do it? What do you mean
Because you're not already rich, John.
Yeah, it's like, what do you
I'm
mean?
gonna say,
Because
like,
I'm not grandfathered
the
in?
one
Like,
thing-
I'm not.
That's the one thing. I love Flagler Beach. I don't. I'm staying here longer. I get signed up for another year here.
Don't start any FB beef.
But everybody in Flagler who already got money, they own everything, and they've been owned it. They don't want nobody else owning nothing.
Their
Coming in
their
here,
rent's like
they're
$300 a
They
month.
really like monopolize it and like try to ban new people from coming out. If you're not already like rich and been lived here, they don't want you here doing stuff.
Crime is absolutely zero here.
I know. I haven't locked my door since I've lived here.
Don't say that on the podcast, Dave.
Come.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Drop the Addy. Drop the Addy right now.
Oh, yeah, they don't even know where I am. Huh? We're in Flagler somewhere. If they can,
We're at
detective work,
Belterra
it's
and
worth
Palm
it.
Coast.
Yeah, we're on the corner of Belterra and Palm Coast.
Get this laptop and microphone set up.
It's not even going to be here. Oh, they better not take
Yeah,
touch
well,
that.
I'm moving in 2 weeks anyway out of the house, so
Yeah.
it's whatever.
So speaking about that, how do you feel about Margaritaville and just like the stir up that's going on with it and stuff like that?
Here's the thing, man. It's being built. There ain't no changing it, so you have to quit whining about it. I do understand, and I will say this. I love the community aspect of Flagler Beach and how it's like the local John. It's so cool to have that local feeling. And then, I mean, you guys know when Bike Week comes in. I hate Flagler
awesome.
Beach, and I
It's
hate
good
Daytona.
for the area,
sure.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I don't get to come down here to my home. So imagine being somebody who lives in Flagler Beach, lives beachside, right? And then you have that touristy event like Bike Week, right? And then you're just flooded with people. It's hard to get around, even in your golf cart, because it's small. There's only like 6 streets.
Yeah.
It's only like 4 deep, and then there's tons north and south.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah,
to
but
think-
really, I mean, really, like 6 blocks north, 6 blocks south, really is the main.
Yeah, but it gets tough, man. And like when you have all those bikers come in, and I don't have anything against bikers. I ride bikes too.
I kind of got something against bikers, but that's a whole nother story.
yeah, but I mean, it's just when you're in this community, right? So this community just has that like close knit, everybody knows everybody thing, and then when the tourists just flood in, it's not like hate, but you can feel like a small disgust for the overcrowdedness. Like I love being able to go down to the beach and ain't nobody's next to you.
I love that.
You got your family,
Especially
time.
if you've been in South Florida where it's packed on the beach.
Right? Yeah.
I love it up here about that.
And that's why the
why I
Flagler
moved
Beach
back.
people are the way they are, though, because they know they've been to
Yeah.
South Beach, Miami.
They wanna keep it the
Naples,
same.
Florida. They want to keep it like this, man. So, but with that being said, what's done is done. Margaritaville's going up, so that's going to be good for some of the small businesses there, like Sunbros right next to it.
I'm trying to understand how is it just gonna be a big brick building? That's kind of whack. That's like an
like a big
eyesore.
brick, though.
Or is it gonna be like open through? You can walk through, or
I'm not sure. I don't think it'll be glass being this close to the.
is it gonna be
beach,
tall?
man. No, it's only 3 stories.
stories.
Yeah, and then 1 level of parking. So, it's gonna.
I
be
don't.
nice.
The parking is gonna be kind of a shit show.
Well,
I think everybody can.
Well, I mean, how many rooms are even in that
100
place?
I don't know, but I think it's only 100 parking spots.
It's gonna be a shit show, bro.
So
and then
I-
everything else is gonna be flooded with parking.
There's already limited parking.
There's already limited parking.
I tried to go to the Greek spot or the gyro spot the other day, and I pulled into this was on a Sunday, where Vessel is.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
tried to pull there. Every business in that place was closed. And some guy painting the thing was like, "You guys can't park here," and like ran me and my son off. I was
Whoa.
like, nobody's even in this plaza, man.
Have you guys been to Yes Coffee over there?
I went to Yes Coffee.
Shout out
when it
Yes
was in the,
Coffee.
Shout
when
out to-
when it was in the church. I went there.
In the church? Man,
Yeah.
that is... I love the owner. She's awesome. But that's some good coffee. I've never drank tea in my life, like hot tea. And they have a tea there called the London Fog. I will probably drink that every morning for the rest of my life.
I'm gonna go get it. We're supposed to go over there.
Yeah.
No,
But,
he's talking about. We're supposed to go to Yes Coffee. Or are you talking about the tea company?
I'm talking about Yes Coffee,
Oh, okay.
Yes Coffee.
Okay, because there's the tea company too there.
which we're supposed to also go there.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I love hot tea. Man. I've been
Yes
drinking hot
Coffee.
tea for the longest.
And the owner,
Milk
she
in it
does.
with
The London
cream in it.
Fog.
Yeah.
The owner, she does awesome photos too. Did you guys see that new photo of me when I was dressed in my suit? Put it on Facebook the other day.
I think I did. I
Yeah.
think I did. I'm not. I don't want. I don't be like yeah when I didn't.
Yes.
but I think I did.
Somebody was like, "Oh man, don't blow his head up. That's AI." No, she does awesome photos, man. I thought I looked great, but yeah,
He said I thought I looked great.
yeah. But
Okay, so I have some more questions. We can get into the future of housing in the market in a little bit, because, bro, that's a great picture.
right?
Is it?
Yeah.
That's a great picture,
I'm not
man.
the only one that thinks I
what I
look
mean?
great, right?
So there's been these rumors coming that hedge funds aren't going to be able to buy single family homes anymore. Have you heard about that?
I have heard about it, and I hope that that's the case because it makes it harder for people who are young that are trying to get into buying a house and buying a couple houses. Big corporate hedge funds are completely different than a guy who's going to have 4 or 5 rentals and try and make a living off of being a landlord. But we don't need a big corporate landlord buying up all the single family homes.
40% of them.
They can if they do that, they control the rent.
Yeah.
They control the rent. I
Yeah.
mean, $2,100 for this place, dude. That's pretty good. I mean, your beachside.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
But it should be like 12.
It should be. And there's houses in Palm Coast, like pool homes that are like nice homes, but like $3,600. I'm like,
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
We're a little bit older, but like my first rent was $350, and I lived in a nice apartment in
Yeah.
Nashville.
Mine was 750.
Where I lived in the B section, Bunker Hill, and I lived in a duplex, and it was $750 for.
Nashville was a lot cheaper.
I can imagine.
This was in like '98
Yeah.
back then.
So what's the play with like BlackRock and all of them? Like, who's gonna stop them from? Because it's almost like they set the laws.
That is absolutely true, and that's
So-
why it's imperative that you get out and you vote. You vote independent. You vote Republican. You keep those big money places like BlackRock completely away from people. And I hate to throw a political jab out there, but most of those hedge fund holders are in the Democratic Party, so they're going to back every Democrat to get into office. It's not about making the Democrats better or even making the independents or the Republicans better. I think the 2-party system is trash. I think we need to have a 3rd-party system.
I agree.
But they're trying to stop that every
Why?
time.
But why?
There's less control. But the people who already have
Drain the
money are
swamp.
the ones controlling it. Exactly.
Dude, the independent party is the people's party. You get the best of the left, the best of the right. You get them together, and we act like Americans are supposed to act, and that takes away all the nonsense. You get rid of the huge hedge funds that's buying everything up and making inflation real. That's what's making inflation real. I mean, we got all these farmers that are all over the world that are, not growing fruit anymore.
Yeah.
You know what happens when that
They like pay him to not.
when
grow-
that gets
And we don't want Bill Gates making our apples.
I don't want
potatoes
any
and stuff.
genetic food, man. Like,
Bill Gates, what do you know about farming?
he
He farms people.
he's the largest farm owner in America. I know that.
What does Bill Gates know about farms?
He knows to buy them.
he's a
He knows
smart dude.
monopolies, bro. He knows monopolies.
Oh man.
Well, Sims is owned by Microsoft, and there's a lot of Sims and stuff going on. So maybe he thinks he
whoa.
can sim the world.
Well, what does he know about vaccines? He's not a doctor either. But
No, he's
pumping them out.
a big corporate investor.
Mad
So
scientist.
some more news that I heard about, and I want to talk to somebody in the business to see if it was true. Is Ron DeSantis?
You mean
Rick?
Santamonious?
Ron DeSantis.
The man.
And it's crazy. He's not doing too good in the polls. I don't know what's going on with it. Like,
That's fine.
out of nowhere, he
That's
just
fine. We'll keep
fell
him in
out.
Florida.
It's crazy.
We'll keep him in Florida. That's
yeah,
fine.
but he's saying that he's not going to allow Chinese people to like buy property in Florida. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, if it's worded the right way, then yes, it's there's nothing against Chinese people, but
See,
it's more.
that's a very democratic play he just did.
Yeah,
Who, me?
It's,
Yeah.
I'm asking.
it's more against
DeSantis hates Chinese.
it's more against communist nationalists. So I mean, this law affects Cuban nationalists coming over. This affects Venezuelans. It affects Chinese, anybody from the Soviet. There's a lot of people that will be affected by this, and right now there's not a whole bunch of information on it. I think there's some restrictions to it. It hasn't been cut all the way off yet, but Ron DeSantis is pushing pretty hard for it to be 100% pushed through. And you know to go back to the Landlord Act, which is what was pushed out in December, you know, we're having a rough time with Americans, and all of those people buying up all the land and building and then becoming huge hedge funds and buying property. We don't need any other companies' hedge funds coming through and buying.
Yeah, true.
So I think those two are gonna, you know, railroad each other, and I'm okay with people not coming in and being blah blah blah. It's hard for us to go out and
cool
buy.
to sell all of America to non-Americans.
If I wanted to go to Mexico right now and buy land, right? And I have family that's Mexican. My mom's from Germany. Dad's Hispanic from Mexico. So you look at it like this: I can't go to my dad's home country and buy land, right?
I heard that.
And if I do, I have to put that land in a trust. It can't be owned by Steven, right? It's got to be owned by Swarner Family Trust, which is the name of our trust. That Swarner Family Trust then has to pay a yearly fee to a bank to own that home in another country. So there's loopholes, there's ways to get around it. But at that point, I don't own it.
Right.
My business or trust would own it. So,
But they can't. Okay, I hear what you're saying. It's almost like, and although we are the land of the free, it's almost too free
But
to
that's
and
Mexican
access to do
But
things.
that's the Mexicans putting the Mexican people first to keep their money. Mexicans, well, we don't do that here,
right, and
You
we
know,
should
like-
do that here. I mean, from start at your house, right?
that- if you
you
try-
guys come over to my house to eat dinner, I'm gonna feed my kids before I feed you guys. But as soon as my kids are fed, I'm feeding everybody. You know, then you go to our community, right? Let's help our community first. Let's help out our homeless first before we reach out to the state. Then we start helping our state first. Shout out to Ron DeSantis, and then we go into, you know, our nation. And I think that's really what, you know, DeSantis's play is, you know, he's done great stuff for Florida. You know, there's some stuff that, you know, he's a lot like Trump, you know, but at the same time, both of you guys are extremely intelligent. Stay off of Twitter, stay offline. If you guys are that intelligent and that smart and you can help America be great or be fantastic, and you could and help us financially, which is what we need right now. If you guys can do that, then shut up. Stop the mean tweets. If that's what's really affecting those people on the left, I mean, that's all they have to say about that dude, is that he is unpresidential because of the way he speaks, and that he started a riot.
which he didn't.
Debatable. But no, he said, I mean,
See, that's-
listen,
I feel like that's
he
another,
said,
like-
listen, he said peacefully, and I get it. He did not know that was going to happen. He later on even said, stop
Do
that.
you believe?
But just like the Chinese statement you said just a second ago, it could have been taken out of context. That's why I said, hey, listen, it's not Chinese people.
That's why I
It's-
said that was a very
it's
democratic
Chinese
way to say it.
nationalists, you know, people that are Chinese citizens coming over to America without a citizenship and then
Right.
buying land.
That's great.
Once they become that citizen, we can help them out.
Awesome.
So
Real quick though, they're doing the same thing in Arkansas, right? That no Chinese non-citizens can like buy the farmland and stuff.
there are a lot of states doing it,
Yeah.
and it's in Congress to be passed right now. So some young lady named Kana is the lady that went at Congress about the hedge funds, and I think it was Ron DeSantis who pulled out the Chinese part. But, I mean,
China.
China.
But
That's why I call it China.
well, thank you for clearing that part up. Before we get into my next question, I want to shout out Tap In. This is my boy Jesse Piccolo's brand,
Piccolo place.
Piccolo Place. He's a huge supporter, sponsor of the podcast. You guys need to go check out his shirts. Go check him out on Instagram. Super dope, super motivational. That's my boy, man. Since our last podcast, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later, But bro, I went to the Miami Heat versus Orlando Magic game, and the floor seats. That's a crazy experience, bro. And it's like not just the game itself, but like the people that were sitting around and the conversations that are going on and just different stuff. It's really crazy. It's really crazy, but it was a great experience. Magic lost, which sucks.
But the Heat won, right?
Oh, shout out to the Heat.
I mean,
Lord.
Hey, this is a
Some of Florida
conversation
won.
that you want to hashtag tap into, but surrounding yourself with better people, like those people down there in the floor seats. You put yourself around 5 millionaires, you're gonna become the sixth.
Yeah,
You put
yeah.
yourself around 5 punks,
Yeah.
you're gonna be the sixth.
Five
I,
nosebleed dwellers.
Yeah,
But man, just being down there, like I said, hearing, I was like, I gotta make more money, but
Yeah.
not even like I have to keep up with them. But I saw where I was being lazy at with my time, you know, and I was just like, I could maximize. I was like, I was doing the numbers. I even told him, I showed him like my planner and stuff like that, and I could just by really working like 2 hour more a day make an extra 20 grand a year or something like that. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But just being consistent, you know, the drip program.
do you mow your yard?
I mean, I live in an apartment complex, but no, I don't mow my mom's yard either.
Okay, so that was a big thing for me when I did get into this industry. Is I found out that, you mow your yard here, you're going to mow it 42 times a year. So there's only going to be 10 weeks that you don't mow your yard, especially in Palm Coast because the
They have
codes are
rules.
so strict.
Yeah.
You know, so there's going to be 42 mows a year. That's, it takes about an hour to mow and edge my yard. Hour 15 if I blow it, take my time. So that's 42 hours a year that I could be working and doing something else. So I thought about that and I was like, oh, that's really small scale. But then, I think about my pool. Somebody asked me the other day, you going to take care of your pool? Nope. No, I'm going to pay somebody else to do it because my time is more precious doing what I do in life. And then this person is a perfectionist. He's going to spend less time doing it, come in, knock it out. I have to pay for it, but I'm going to be able to make more money in my industry if I spend my time doing that instead. So I have a 12-year-old son that will be picking up that yard this year.
Nice.
So I won't have to, pay the money, and I still get to keep my time. But
Yeah.
I've always
Oh,
encouraged.
you paid enough.
Yeah, I paid enough. Yeah. So I encourage people though, man, to leave some of those homely duties to somebody else. If you're in an industry where you're 1099 and you get paid what you're worth, you get paid what you're working for. Push that other stuff off to somebody else.
I agree. I'm in a really good situation because, like I said, I work at my apartment complex, and the main reason I do that is because I get like a 20% discount on my rent, and so I'm paying like $14.50 for a 2-2 in Orlando, and it's like it's really nice, and pool right there, and like all my amenity, like my water's paid for, you know what I mean? So I was like, I'm gonna stay here until I buy the house, you know what I mean? Because there's no reason for me to move to a better spot and take on more rent when like just living here plus working here, the checks are not that big, but they just pay off my rent, you know what I mean? So pretty much just living for free, and then everything else I make is earned income. And I'm trying to just do better this year with managing my money. That's my New Year's resolution. What do you have for like a New Year's resolution? New year, new me.
New year, new me. I just gave my goals to my buddy Rick, and we're bouncing our goals back off each other. But
That's awesome to have someone like that.
yeah, first thing first.
Dave's my guy.
Yeah, every year my goal is to get closer to God. Because when I'm closer to God, I'm doing everything better. I'm a better father. I'm a better husband. Better in my community. Better at work. I got a goal this year, man. I want to focus. I want to help 100 new families get into a home. That's one of my
awesome.
goals.
That's awesome. I'm
That's-
hopefully going to be one of them.
I hope so.
I mean, yeah.
Well, if you buy that fourplex, that's 4 families for me.
Let me ask you this question. Are you like strictly Flagler, or could you do Orlando, or?
So I'm licensed in the state of Florida,
Okay.
Georgia,
Nice.
Tennessee,
Okay.
Kentucky,
Okay.
Colorado,
Nice.
Pennsylvania, and Texas.
Nice. So we could do Georgia as well, and Dallas.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Because I need to get one in Dallas because
You're
one of my best
sleeping
friends.
on
lives
Nashville, man. Like you talk about 3 big cities, but you were sleeping on Nashville.
Couple different things. Are you ready to hear this?
Slap me. Let's go.
Okay. So the first is I used to be a Tennessee Titans fan, but they just disrespect me every year. Horrible choices on pick and stuff like that. Number 2,
Getting rid of AJ Brown.
I was like, they need to hire me as their general manager.
Yeah.
I could do better than them.
Why are you a Titans fan?
Javon Curse went there. He was my favorite player.
Javon Curse, University of Florida. He is the whole reason I played defensive end.
I played defensive end too, and he's the reason I did too. He's the beast. He's the freak.
He's the freak. Yep.
What was I gonna say? The general manager that hired, his name's John Robinson.
Yeah.
And that's my name. I was like, you motherfuckers. They hired the wrong John God is funny.
and he's horrible. Listen, I got
Exactly.
I
want to fight him. We need to fight.
Have you seen the new stadium though?
I think no, I haven't. I saw the old stadium.
Oh man.
I've been there like 8 years ago. Have I seen the new stadium?
They haven't put it together yet. They're building it right now.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it
It
yet.
is amazing, dude. It's gonna make Jerry's house look tiny, man.
Bang.
It's
So then also I've been to Nashville and I like the strip. It's awesome. You know what I mean? I love the
Broadway.
blue spot. What's it called?
BB King's.
BB King's. Went there. Went to the Brazilian steakhouse on the strip.
Rodizio.
Yeah, saw all the girls on the bikes and the drinks and stuff. It's awesome. You know what I mean? My ex-girlfriend's parents live in Matthew, which is like 30 minutes north of Nashville.
Right.
And then we even went to there's like one of the largest caves in the world. It's like on the border of Kentucky.
In Adams, Tennessee.
I'm not exactly sure, but it's somewhere up there. But bro, they talk about like Native Americans, and then there's like some kind of alien talk going on there. Like they just disappeared. They just went in the cave and they never came back out.
That's not alien talk. That's actually the Bell Witch. The Bell Witch. People go to the Bell Witch cave in Adams, Tennessee, and they don't come out. It's weird.
Holy shit.
And I'm getting chill bumps thinking about it. But as kids, man, we would sneak into it and stuff at night. And
What the hell?
Later on, I'm gonna send you guys a picture. There's a picture of me and my wife when we were, I guess we were like 15 and 16 years old.
Nice.
We've been together for a long time. But there's a picture of us. We went up to Adams, Tennessee, went to the Bell Witch Cave, and there's a face right behind us. And there was nobody there except for me, my wife, and the person taking the picture.
Oh lordy!
Face right behind us. It is crazy. No, it is a pure face.
Oh, dang.
Whoa. Was it like a white person, a black person? Or?
It was a white person.
Go so white, John.
I didn't know it was a ghost. He's just a person. Like,
Yeah.
but
People were like, "Do you believe in ghosts?" And I was like, "I do now. I do now."
I got some like kind of creepy vibes from up there. But also, it's like it's all mountains. And my thing is like, I'm like a paranoid person. I'm always like watching everything and stuff like that. But I can't imagine having like, you have a 12-year-old. Like imagine them being 16, especially now with cell phones, them riding in the car with their friends to school, maybe at nighttime, God forbid. But if they're drinking and driving, people in Florida, they like end up in the ditches all the time and stuff like that. I'm sure you have. Obviously you have, but you've driven in Nashville. You've driven from like Chattanooga to Nashville and stuff on 24. Bro, you look on the edge, it's a mile down.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm like, how can you let your kid be like, hey, I'm going to see my friend? And it's like, no, you're not.
My grandfather drove off of Mount Eagle Mountain.
I'm sorry to hear
In
that.
Chattanooga. So I know what you're talking about, man.
Bro, I've driven. It's like, bro, one time I was in.
Oh, that Chattanooga, like, is that like by like the Ruby Fall Mountain you're talking about?
Yeah.
That's like windy all the way up.
It
Bro,
is.
I'm like, why do they put roads here? What is going on?
They have
Build a straight road.
They have the runoffs of it, like why my thing is whose idea was it to go up a mountain with a road? You could have just went around the mountain.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro, I'm like, no, I'm not living here. This is too much stress for me. Like, I was white knuckling the whole way. I'm like, don't look down. People are like, oh, it's how beautiful. I'm like, bro, I look, we're going.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
It's,
when
it's
I was
so
like,
steep.
And you have that feeling, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta not. I don't know about y'all. Have you ever had like you're walking on a bridge, like jump.
Nah, I don't do that, man.
But it's like, bro, it's like
That's one of those. That's one of those white people moments. And
Right.
you just fell into it.
And it's crazy because like I don't like being on edges.
Yeah, I felt like-
you know what it is? I fell off the Grand Canyon one time. It was crazy.
Not the
It
main
was,
canyon, right?
what'd you say?
Not the main canyon.
It was
One of them?
The Grand. Oh yeah, no, it was the main Grand Canyon. And like me and my brother and my nephews are like looking, and they're like, pretend like you're falling off the edge. I was like, I don't want to do that. You're a pussy. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right. And I go to do it, and there's like loose rocks.
I'll show
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah.
Pretend.
There's loose rocks, and then he's taking the picture. You see me, whoop, just fall out the picture. And then there's no fences anywhere around it, but luckily there was a water pipe for the water fountains and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just grabbed it, and I'm like hanging off the edge of the Grand Canyon. And then I just pull myself up so quickly before I could even like, you know what I mean? Like, whew, just the adrenaline, whatever it was, just brought me back up. But for a split second, I'm like, holy shit, it was crazy. I just go to grab anything, and luckily there was a pole there. It was, but like,
That's
I
funny,
definitely
like,
have
same
that.
thing.
So the
like-
Grand Canyon makes them hate Nashville.
Yes, I don't like mountains or anything. I want to live in flat land.
when we were like younger, and I was probably like in like 6th grade, so Jimmy was like
I'm gonna go get a water
we were
real
younger,
quick.
but we were at Ruby Falls in Rock City, and my brother Jimmy, I don't know if you know him or not, but he slipped in loose gravel also, and was sliding down that Chattanooga mountain there. So we all got to go into Ruby Falls for free. Yeah. The manager came out and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
You almost died? Come in for free.
Yeah.
Almost die again.
And they gave
Genius.
Man, I love the 90s, bro.
The 90s were awesome.
I miss the 90s so much, bro. Oh my god, shit was so funny. Holy shit.
Man, I miss the 90s. Dude, could you imagine if we had phones when we were kids?
Oh my god.
phones didn't even come out until I was like
So many
I had a phone when I
F-bombs.
was like what's it, like 18, 19, something like that, like a little Nokia.
Yeah, the slide.
Green screen.
Brick phone.
Yeah,
Play
exactly.
Snake.
Yeah, it was Snake. Yeah.
Remember it was cool. Remember the Nokia brick phone came out and had like the green backlight, and then when Motorola came out with the blue light, everyone was like, "Oh, I'm getting the blue light."
Yeah, they really killed him with that one.
Snake
That was
2
crazy.
came out. They put lines on the Snake for Snake 2, and you're like, "Oh, it looks real." Or video games. You remember when 007 GoldenEye came out?
Oh man, the
You're
colored
like,
pencil.
It looks just like a human.
Yeah, that shit was real. That shit, you couldn't tell me that wasn't Odd Job.
Yeah, Odd Job, the man. I always played with Odd Job.
Bro.
Shoot right over him.
Yeah. Yeah, he was short as shit. It was like a cheat code with him. So let me hear a little bit more about the personal life of Steven. Like, what do you like to do outside of work? And actually, tell us a little bit about the missionary trip that you have coming up.
Cool. All right. So I've been going to Honduras for about 5 years now, 6 years if you take away the year we couldn't go in COVID. But I love going down to Honduras. You know, it's a cartel-driven area. It's the murder capital of the world.
Whoa.
Nobody wants to go there, right? It's resonated as probably the most outside of Venezuela, the most dangerous place in the world, and maybe Haiti right now because Haiti's going through some stuff. But I decided to go there with 5 friends of mine to go do a mission trip, and it turned out to be just the most amazing thing in the world. Watching other people, be helped. And my wife, she would tell me, she was like, why are you going somewhere else? There's people here that need help, and that's 1,000% true. So I do try and help out my community as much as possible. But
These people need help.
they need help, man. When you go into this area, man, and you see some of the homes in Honduras, and you meet some of the people there, they don't have shoes on their feet. They live in mud homes. They have pigs living with them. It is beyond homeless. They don't eat. They're malnutritioned. They don't even have fresh water. And I'm not talking about like Flint, where Flint has bad water coming through pipes. I'm talking about, imagine your 85-year-old grandmother carrying 2 5-gallon buckets up a mountain every day and drinking spring water that has all kinds of parasites and stuff in it. Now their body's used to that parasite, so they have that bacteria in their body. They don't get sick on it like we would do. But they carry those 10 gallons up every day. Some of the strongest people in the world. They're some of the smallest people, but some of the strongest people. but they're also some of the strongest people in their faith. And when you have nothing like that, when you don't have a home to go into, you don't have a pool in your backyard that you're building, you don't have an apartment complex full of friends, you don't have a nice house in Flagler Beach. When you don't have that stuff, and then you go there, you start taking all that stuff you take for granted in life. You start realizing that it's nothing. And these people don't have that, and they'll never have what we have. And to be able to see their eyes open, we take down these soccer balls. They're called mission balls. We take about 200 to 300 down every time, and they have the gospel written on it in Spanish. And we'll ride around in the back of the truck. In some neighborhoods, we can't stop in because it's just too dangerous. So we'll pump them up. We'll sit in the back of the truck, pump them up, and we'll be going around, and they're kicking balls around. Sometimes they're kicking rocks around. Throw a couple of those balls out.
Wow.
And these people are just the happiest. And then they pick it up, and instead of playing soccer, man, they're reading like what's on the ball. You're like, man, that's tough.
That's awesome.
It's tough to see, other people. On Christmas when my kids open up gifts, I think about those kids in Honduras that'll never open up a Christmas present. And I'm not saying, hey, stop giving your kids gifts, stop living your life, don't enjoy the fruits of your labor. I'm not saying anything like that. But you have to realize that everybody has a different level of normal, and their normal is completely different than ours. We have this free world that we're, sitting over here on a podcast bitching about a little bit. And then you go to their world, instantly humbled. You come back home, new person. And you just want to be better. Not just for yourself, but every person around you. You want to start helping every single person you come in contact with. You want to see your enemies be successful. I've never seen so many people hate each other in a free world like this. And then you go there, and we'll build a house. Everybody pitches in.
Yeah,
And
it's
right
like
now-
we don't got time
Yeah.
to be fighting, complaining about red or blue,
Yeah.
left or right. It's like, let's get this house over this lady's house.
Yep. Middle Tennessee Mission Outreach is some of the coolest people that, I've ran into. They've done some pretty cool stuff. And we negotiated about 400 acres of land given to us, cartel-owned land, right? I'm about to show you some cool pictures. Cartel-owned land that was given to us. We had to sign like a little treaty between the government and the cartel. And then they gave us the land. We're building 400 homes, 2 schools, 2 churches, 4 soccer fields. We're building a community of people. And then we go up into these mountains, and then we pull people out that live in these mud homes that I'm about to show you. We build toilets for them. Like this is a nice house there,
Wow,
right?
that's crazy.
That guy is living in a mansion. Now he's up on a mountain in a ravine, right?
Can the camera see that? Well, let's see the.
Yeah, they can hear it.
Yeah, it can see.
It's pretty much like about like a 8x8 shack.
Yeah, 8x8 shack. Go in, dirt floors. He has a couple blankets or a couple pieces of I guess cloth would be the right word because they're not blankets. He has laid down, and then you see these kids, and they're so joyous to see us. The land is beautiful. Everything about this country is beautiful. And, people will be like, oh, you go and talk to the cartel? Why would you talk to the cartel? And the only thing I can say is I fall back on that new normal. Like, everyone's normal is different. These people live in that lifestyle. They don't want to live in that lifestyle. It's what they're born and bred into.
Yeah,
If they get out of that lifestyle, they're killed.
and I'm not trying to like talk bad about anybody. This isn't like a direct shot, but there could be some that could say like Flagler Sheriffs is their own form of, I wouldn't say cartel, but it's like they're doing their own thing out here. You know what I mean? They're holding it down, and they got guns, and they hold down the land. You know what I mean? It's like with cartels. I'm not saying, however they make their money, but they just pretty much protect the land.
Also, too, like what resources does that country really even have?
Yeah, well,
Other than like
I get what
coffee.
you're saying because, again, people are going to interpret that because of what you said, you're probably bad mouthing the cartel.
Yeah,
He's not
that's-
saying, or not the
yeah.
cartel. The
I think
sheriff.
cartel is putting
He's
a
not
negative
saying the sheriff is
connotation.
bad. He's saying that that sheriff has created this this border of deputies, and they are
Right.
and they are protecting our area like the cartel protects in Honduras.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just don't want you.
No,
somebody
no,
to be
yeah.
Oh, he don't like Staley.
No,
Staley's
I
the
love
man.
Staley.
Staley's the man.
Yeah, he's different. You know what I mean? The way that he runs things are definitely different.
So this is, we got stuck down there during the bombings in Villanueva Cortez. They bombed some of the police departments that were there
Oh,
because the president forced himself into a third term, and it's weird because the police and the armies of this place, they're trying to. There's so much corruption, but they're also trying to protect their own lives. Mm-hmm. It's when you're put into a situation like that, when you're able to sit in the same building as somebody else and look at every view, turn around and look at how Dave sees it, or how John sees it, or how Steven sees it. We can be in the same room and looking at stuff and have completely different views on how things are going to turn out or how things are going to go.
Is Honduras directly below Mexico?
It's Honduras,
Look it up.
Belize, and then it's Mexico, Belize, and then Honduras. Honduras is a first country in Central America.
Oh, okay.
But there's kids out here that are working for these cartels, man, and they're
can we buy real estate in Honduras?
you can, but you would have to buy.
Did you see that movie?
Personal until you get your citizenship.
You know that child trafficking movie, The Sound of Freedom? Isn't that kid like kidnapped from Honduras? And
Yes.
They had to go up the river in Honduras to get the girl back, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because they were like processing coke and stuff like there in Honduras. If it was Honduras, if I remember correctly. But yeah, that was rough. They had like kids like stomping on the cocoa leaves, and
Wow.
they had like, because they wanted like, I don't know if you I don't know if you saw the movie, but this FBI agent or whatever, he takes this one case personal and he like rescues the son, but then the daughter got sold to like Honduras cartel members, and they were like, oh, we can't even go in there because nobody goes in this area.
Yeah. Like leaves the job, right? He just completely leaves his job.
Yeah, then he quits his job, and it's a true story because at the end of the movie they show the actual guy, and he ends up going in the cartel territory, posing as like a missionary doctor, infiltrates their village, steals the little girl, and makes it out.
Here's one of the houses we're building. We take them out of their mud home. We let them keep their mud home, so they can have more family come out.
Airbnb it out.
Airbnb it out, right? But then we build them a complete brick home and put a porch on it. We make it very livable for them. There's the mud home behind it. It's literally made of mud.
That's fire.
Yeah.
It is mud.
Just in this, to be completely honest, I feel like rich people would rent out those mud homes, like to stay there for a night or something like that.
I encourage them too. I encourage every person to get out there and try living over there.
Even if it was like $100 a night, people would be like, "I'm actually doing something good." Yeah, I would go stay.
Yeah, I'm a
like
big dude.
camping.
I'm 6'1", 250 pounds. I'm a pretty solid guy, right? And I'm carrying 2 bags of concrete, right? Now these 80-pound bags of concrete, that's 160 pounds. I'm slinging it. There are kids, like super young kids, while we're over there like laying the brick, running the concrete down the side, or running the masonry concrete down the side. There are kids that are coming over carrying those 80-pound bags, dropping them on the ground, and the way they mix them up over there, it's not like us where we get a wheelbarrow. You get your drill, you mix it up. These dudes pour the concrete on the ground, build like a little volcano, dig a hole in the middle, put water. They use shovels and they stir it. Then they bring it back. They bring it over to you, throw it in. These people are innovative. They don't let excuses.
It's like, excuse me, I don't think that's going to be OSHA certified, sir.
They don't let excuses or take over for you, man. There's always a way there.
I don't know if this is going to
look at this.
I don't know if this is going to qualify your FHA loan.
Kitchen floor. No, this would not qualify for FHA. This is a hard money situation. This is definitely a hard money situation. So,
Do they eat pigs?
of course, yeah.
So I know if
They
they
don't
like.
have the luxury to be like, I don't eat pork.
I know if they're like Indian people where they raise them, but they don't eat the cows and stuff like
Yeah. These kids right here, look, he's got concrete on his face from when he was helping us with the concrete.
that. Dang.
All right, and then, this is a small kid. And we gave him one of our little mission balls with the.
Yeah, there's like
the
what, like
gospel on it.
there's like 4 or 5. Possibly.
No, man, he's actually like 8. But like
Is
I
he?
said, Honduran kids are much
Oh,
smaller and.
well, that nutrition too, and just the race maybe slightly smaller.
So you're going back?
Yep,
But that's
going
still-
back. I'll be leaving next Saturday. Going back for 10 days.
Do you think it's dangerous?
if my wife is watching, no, it's the safest place in the world. But if my wife is not watching, yeah, it's dangerous, man. We were there one time and we got moved from one hotel to another because of the dangers that come with it. But now, I've built such a relationship, and I try and do that with everything, not just with the mortgages. I've built a relationship with the people down there. So, we have my buddy Bear, he drives for us when we get down there. He's an ex-cartel member, and he also used to be a driver for the president of Honduras. He drives us around, make sure we're safe. There's communications that happen with the leaders of this organization, Middle Tennessee Mission Outreach. Pat and Gary will go down and they'll have the big discussions with the cartels and for protection and things like that to make sure that we're good. There's been times where we show up to the airport, and then they're like, "Hey man, we're taking all this. We'll take like 200 toothbrushes and
awesome.
200 mission balls and then you get there and then customs is like, we're taking all this, and we're like, dude, we're missionaries. We're trying to help your community. We don't care." And then like Gary, little short dude that looks like Mario, walks up to him. He says whatever he says to him. Turns around, and he goes, "Hey man, go get your stuff out of the customs hold." I'm like, what? Like the pool that this man has because of the relationships he's built in Honduras is amazing.
Yeah.
And then we have another guy, Pat. He's awesome. He's basically like the spiritual mentor of everybody there. And I've always got this guy cracking up, man, because I'm always trying to be funny. But this dude, I'm going to show you a picture. He looks just like Bill Clinton. And there's a picture of me.
Just take the picture, Hillary.
There's a picture of me making him laugh so hard he turns beet red. And all I'm doing is just clowning on him because of how much he looks like.
While he's looking for that picture, Dave, what's your New Year's resolution?
Well, I mean, I've said this on the podcast several times. I have this very taking it easy lifestyle, and I got to get like kind of out of that a bit. Because I could definitely like work more, for sure. So I'm going to do that. And also I have some things from the past that I'm trying to straighten out paperwork wise. So I'd like to get all that done so I can get kind of back to my previous profession and whatnot. So that's kind of the goal right now.
Can you tell the people about your 7-day water fast?
Well, 4-day water fast.
one day water fast.
4-day water fast.
2-day water fast.
4-day water fast.
What happened?
So, I did this before.
No, you haven't, Dave.
Guess I have. Anyway, like over 10 years ago, I did it.
Never.
I did. He's just hating right now. So I was going to do it again.
So what? It's 7 days just water.
Yes.
Okay.
But
why do you do that? Is it religious or?
Well, no, because I was listening to this doctor, and after a certain amount of time,
He does look like Brooklyn.
you go what's called autophagy, and your body starts. He does, yeah.
And he's ready.
Like, but after a certain amount of time, with no food, your HGH goes up really high, and your body starts eating every unnecessary thing in your body that it doesn't need. So if you have any like pre-cancerous cells, things like that, and this doctor from Florida Hospital, actually Florida, he was talking about it, and he was like, if you fast for a week every year, you will never get cancer because you just totally clear out your body from every unnecessary thing that you need. But it's rough. Like I got a headache, and it was just like the headache just wouldn't stop, and it was just like.
So what is hunger? When I say I'm hungry,
but see, you're not even really hungry because you have other things that live in your body. Have you ever heard of like an insect that like can get into another insect and control them? Like there's these fleas or whatever, and
the fly on the back of the flies and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
tapeworms.
And then they'll like go on a goat, and they'll have a goat go to certain things and eat certain things so they can get it. But you have all this different bacteria and stuff that live in your body. So
I just got tested, Dave. I don't got anything.
I can go for a candy bar. I can go for a candy bar, but you can't. The bacteria in your body is sending signals to your brain, telling you that hey, you want to have this candy bar. So and those things don't want to die. So they're sending you signals, and then plus you start like you're used to operating on a certain amount of sugar, and your brain only runs off of sugar. So it's just rough, man. I mean, like I was like, oh, I can't
So after day
do
4,
it.
after
do
after
it.
day 2.5, what started happening?
It was just the headache, man, was like rough, man. And then like all through day 3, it was just it was rough, B. And like you get,
I don't even remember day 3.
it was like your stomach is definitely hollow and
Yeah.
it's grumbly. But
Guys,
more
let us
so,
know. Did Dave make it to day
it's
4
the
or
headache,
not?
man. It's just the headache that was just like.
Tap in, Dave.
Dave, I'm not gonna clown on you because I've actually done it before too. It is rough, but
You've done 7 days?
no, I've only done 4 days. But it was just like a 96-hour fast. By day 3 for me, I didn't care anymore. But
Like you were-
day 1 and 2 were rough. And then now I intermittent fast to like 1 or 2, and sometimes if the time gets away from me, I don't eat until later on. Like, but I know what you're going through. I've never been past day 4, but
Is that like no man's land?
Yeah.
It's a dark area.
day 3 and 4, I was like, all right, good. But day 5, when I went to go eat, bubble guts,
Ooh.
everything. Yeah.
I heard
How'd that go for you
and I
after
was
your
reading a lot
day
of stuff
4?
too. And it was like, well, I didn't like eat a lot at first. What was the first thing I ate? Oh yeah, I had some cabbage rolls that my mom had made. So I had 1 cabbage roll, and then I ate that, and then
You're off to the
I think
races.
a couple. And then I think a few
It
hours.
only been
and then I
a
think
day and a
few
half,
hours
so it
later,
wasn't
I had
that-
like another cabbage roll, and then that was the next day. So then that was like pretty much back to normal. Then I had coffee the next morning, which was great, and
I have a friend doing it right now, literally, like right now as we speak.
yeah.
I want to try and do something like that. Maybe no smoking for like 7 days, or like I want to like start by like taking a little bit away,
Yeah.
like no bread or something like that. Or
Have you ever done keto?
nah, I've heard mixed things just about it, like going to a state of ketosis and stuff. I'm like, I don't know about that.
It's a different feeling. Have you guys ever done shrooms before?
Yeah, I just
Okay.
did it on New Year's.
Yeah.
All right. So have you guys ever, like, instead of just taking like an eighth at a time or something, you microdose it out?
You know, I try that and I didn't really.
I tried microdosing for PTSD, and it was cool. And if you microdose, it's really just like taking a hit or taking a gummy or something like that. Like just put like hitting the joint one time, putting it out, or taking a gummy. But when you microdose mushrooms, it kind of gives you that calming feeling of being high. But you know how like you're super alert if if it's a sativa, you're like alert. That's how ketosis kind of feels. You're calm, but you're alert, and it's almost like you have spider senses.
That's dope.
I've done keto a couple times, and there's been some times where I'm like, "Ooh, is that my sugar dropping?" And you're like, "Nah, it's not. It's,
You just calming down.
you're just calming down."
I'm gonna have to do some research on that. So, Dave, yours is just, you said like working a little bit harder, like coming out of that retirement type stuff.
Yeah, because I've been living a retired lifestyle for several years now.
Yeah, yours is get closer to God and help out 100 families, and mine is to get into the multifamily property, but also like manage my money better. What I realized is I actually make pretty good money. I just like throw it away. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
I think you really got to go out of your way not to buy anything. It's like really hard because I tried that also.
Not even.
just
It's
like-
just like you got to not give in to every desire that you want every day. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, even if you have one day where you're like, I'm going to go out to eat, that's dope. But if every day you stop and get a coffee, you stop and get this, you stop and do this, you
It adds up.
go out to lunch, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
you don't work, you know what I mean? You just like hang out that day. It's like, now you're in a negative day instead of being in a
Yeah.
positive day, you know? And a lot of those negative days compared to a lot, you know what I mean? It's like a 20 grand swing.
I still like work. You know what I mean?
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me in general. You know what I mean? For me, because I work for myself,
Yeah.
I'll have like $1,000 day, but then like take off the next 2 days. You know what I mean?
My problem is like I'm salaried. I've had the same job almost 8 years on salary. So it's like
You're on the farm, Dave. They got you.
What do you do?
like I do a couple things, but my company we do like management training for people in the FAA. So if you want to become a manager in the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration for people who don't know, you got to take a class with our company, and we do like new manager, senior decision maker, mentoring, managing. We got like 12, 15 classes that we offer, and then we hold classes at a hotel in Tampa. But we also have Zoom classes going on, which I'm the Zoom admin, which keeps me very busy. And then I go to Tampa like once a month or so, and then I make all the books also. So I have like different things that I do. But from day to day, like might not be much going on. So some free time.
Yeah.
And when I go there, I try to do like, when I actually go to Tampa, I'll work 14, 16 hours a day and just do as much as I can to keep myself from going back and forth so much, you know? And then the rest of the time I just like monitor Zoom. If anybody has a problem, answer emails, different things like that. So it's been nice, but it keeps me kind of, like he said, like on the farm, or is that what he said?
Yeah, my boy Dave is retired. That's what I said, because he like works from home. You know what I mean? So like he makes good money. And you know what I mean? It's like, it's hard for me to be like, Dave, go do something. Because he's like, John, I'm making more money than you just sitting here. I'm like, yeah, but you could make more money.
It's
you know
true.
what I mean?
And then, plus living here is, is very quiet and calm. Like some days I just wear swimming trunks and slides, and I won't even, maybe I'll throw a t-shirt on.
I thought, like, you're retired, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're retired.
So it's kind of unmotivating to, but in my 20s, man, like I hustled hard and I did a lot of stuff. I made a lot of money and fucked off a lot of money. So I don't care about money now. So it's hard to really like motivate me by being like, well, you can have more money. It's like,
You want more time.
I want more time. I want
I hear you.
to relax and be chill and like not have a stressful life. Because when I was making a lot of money and doing all that stuff, it was stressful.
If you,
It's called responsibility.
a lot of people think that I went self-employed because I wanted to make more money, and it's not. It's like I wanted the time too.
The freedom.
Yeah, and
Flexibility.
Yeah, if you do the math, right? If I made $100,000 as a W-2 employee, which I didn't because Discount Tire doesn't pay that much. But let's just, from mathematically, it's going to be easy to break it down.
Yeah.
Taxes are like 32%, so you're going to make out of that, you're going to lose $32,000, right?
68.
So now you make 68,000. You brought home $68,000 after everything.
Yeah.
What if you like were self-employed? You made $68,000, right? Then you write all that stuff off. You write off all your expenses. Then you're making the same amount of money, but now you're paid off for what you're worth, and you get more time. Because when I was working at Discount Tire, I was salary as well. I was one of their managers. I traveled and I helped stores get better. It was cool. I loved my job. But I was working 60 hours, 65 hours a week, and I had to be there. I had to clock in. I had to go do something.
Had to ask to take time off.
I had to ask to take time off. Now, like, I can't tell you how many cruises I've been on in the past 3 years.
And still answer your emails.
And then I answer my email while I'm out there, or I'll
it.
pick up a phone call or something like that. So I preach for people to go out and do what you want to do and be happy. And because I was so scared to do it. And then I realized, wow, I'm happy doing this. So I'm good at it. So the money came too.
Yeah.
And it was like, there's no slowing down from here. And it seems like every year there's a new opportunity to grow or get better, meet new people, meet better agents that, sell more houses. And, you start building these relationships. And there are people out there that will only use me for mortgages. And then there's some that just, hey, man, here's the deal. Throw you a deal. And then there's some people that are like, hey, I don't want to use you. Cool. Perfect. But I try those people that do help me out, I invest time back into them because I want their business to grow too, so that they can give me more. But I got so much more time to spend with the family. If I want to sit at home in that brand new pool that I built, and then sit on the outdoor patio and answer emails and hang out with my kids, I could do it. If I want to go to Honduras for 10 days on a mission trip, I can do it.
So that's another thing too. Like I was away from my son for a while. Like I have a son and a daughter. My daughter's 19. My son's 16. Like he's usually here, but he's not. He's fishing right now.
Lucky.
But he'll be gone in a year and a half. He's going to college. So I've had him for 2.5 years now. Sole custody of him. I'll have him another year and a half, and then he'll be gone. So it's like, yeah, I could work more right now, but I'm also able to be here every day and hang out with him. This and that. So that's kind of worth a lot to me as well.
That's true.
Because once he moves out, what the hell else am I going to do? You know, like my daughter's gone, my son's gone, then I'll have nothing to do but work or whatever. So,
Do you fish with him?
not so much. He's with my brother right now. Not really a fisherman.
I wasn't either, man. I'm going to be honest with you. 2 years ago, that was like one of my like life fears.
Fishing?
No, I was afraid of two things: fish and spiders. Now it's just spiders, but fish. Man, my brother one time we were jug fishing. I used to never be afraid. We were jug fishing where you throw a bunch of jugs out in the lake, and you put some like stink bait on the bottom. And you take a little John boat out, and then you go to the jugs and you pick it up, and like 15 minutes later, there's usually a catfish on the bottom. We got a 5-gallon bucket. We're dumping catfish all in it, and freshwater catfish is really good to eat. Not like the hard-nosed cat you get here on the shore, but they have the same dorsal fins in there that are poisonous. And my brother thought it'd be a joke. I fell asleep on the boat. He poured the bucket on me, and the fins were just like poking me all over my body. The poison that got me.
Yeah,
so
I've been poked
sick.
by a catfish before. That's not why I don't like doing it, but I have been poked by a catfish.
Well, that created fear for me for like a really long time, and my fear didn't go away until my brother-in-law took my son fishing, and I went with him I didn't want my son to know I was scared of anything, right? You know, this big Navy veteran that's tough, tattooed, buff dude. Like I was like, I'm not gonna look like a bitch in front of my son. And I caught a fish and I tried to make it. I was like, oh yeah, there it is. Take a picture with it, and like held it up. And my brother-in-law was like, take it off the hook. And I was like, no, man, can't do it. And he's like, what? I was like, shh. He's like, man, he's like, it's a bass, dude. Just stick your hand in there. It's like, can't bite you. Just grab its lip, hold it up. Nah. Well, then my son does it. Just grabs it.
Oh,
Hold it
man.
up. Yeah.
That's
And
funny.
then-
Like I got attacked by a man of war.
Wait, hold on. Let me finish this story real quick.
Like he throws it in, like my son like takes it, throws it in a live well. And then at this point, doesn't know I'm scared. Well, then we get to the dock, and then my wife and her sister and my mother-in-law are all sitting on the dock, and everybody's like reaching in the live well to show everybody the fish they caught. and I caught the biggest one, so everyone's like, Steven, grab your fish. And I'm like, man, come look at it. It's in the well. Come look at it. So I'm like waving everybody over, and they're like, no, grab it. And I'm like, fuck. And I'm sticking my hand in there, and every time I touch it, I like pull my hand back off. And then my son goes, Dad, are you scared? And I was like,
Oof. That's a moment. Wow.
yeah, it hit. It hit. And I was still scared. I grabbed the fish, but like the inside of me, I was like, ew, I'm touching a fish. Oh, I'm so scared of it. But now, you know, I go shore fishing. I catch any fish, whiting, whatever, like sharks. You know, I catch a shark. I'll pull a shark off. I don't care now for some reason. I got over that fear because I was like, I ain't looking like no punk in front of my son.
That's dope. That's
But
dope.
a spider? Sorry, dude.
Burn the house down.
Yeah, burn the house down. Take the sun with it. I don't care. Leave that spider.
You can grab it. I ain't doing it, bro. Spiders are kind of creepy, bro. It's like the way they look, and it's like, bro, they just look like, if I'm bigger, I'm going to kill you,
They can get you though, man.
Florida wolf spiders, man. Them things are like,
Brown recluses.
dude, they'll like fit in the palm of your hand. They're huge.
Bruh.
We
Bruh.
seen one yesterday crawling on the lanai. We just had that lanai built for the pool. And they were like, oh, look at that. And I was like, dude.
It's crazy. And then you almost don't want to like do anything mean to them, because if you don't kill them, you feel like they remember.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that gets like telepathic from the spider? Like, I'll be back, motherfucker. I'm like, bro, it wasn't even like that.
Yeah.
You know, if you like miss, but they go away, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
My son, I have 4 boys. And
Nice.
yeah, my youngest son is like, oh, let it bite you, Dad. I'm like, no, man.
You know,
Come on, you'll be like Peter Parker.
my stepbrother got bit in the back by a brown recluse, and this was like, I don't know, probably like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And even today, he's still got like probably that big around, half-inch deep
Yep.
pit where he just
Whoa.
it
It ate away?
just dissolved his skin. Yeah.
I don't have a pit, but right there,
Looks
the
a little
scar
pity
that's-
there.
Yeah, on the
That's his
tattoo.
car, yeah.
So I got bit by a brown recluse on the back of my elbow, and I was supposed to be pitching. I was in little league, and my elbow swole up. My dad was like, "Oh man, you got tennis elbow." I was like, "Oh yeah, maybe." And then the next day, it's all pussy and like it's like the venom from that brown recluse is eating inside out. Go to the doctor, and they're like, "Dude, if you would have waited one more day, you'd be dead.
Dang.
That's crazy.
So-
yeah.
That's why I'm scared of
Craziness.
spiders.
That's
So-
a legitimate scare. Fair
Yeah,
though,
yeah, that's a legitimate. The fish
Like,
one,
I'm scared of palmetto bugs. And,
Palmetto
like
bugs?
they just creep me out. Yeah, like for some reason, like palmettos.
$20 all you want to do.
I'm like legitimately scared of heights, but I'll go do it. Kind of like the same thing. Like,
Says the dude that like tried to jump off the Grand Canyon.
no, I'm scared of heights for
That's
sure,
trauma.
definitely. But I'll be like, oh, bro, let me show you guys a picture today.
Do you like flying?
I'm scared of it, bro. I'll be like, oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? Like, what is going on? This is horrible. Look at this though. Look where I was today. This is 22 floors up in downtown Orlando.
Yeah, that's nice.
Are you
Well,
close?
hey, right there. Look how scared he got. He pulled it back.
You see? Like,
He said, "Woo!"
I am not messing
balcony.
with that.
See, I wouldn't be scared on the balcony because it's like you're supposed to be there.
I have that feeling like,
You know what I mean?
jump. It's crazy, bro.
You think about that? No way.
You said I think about jumping?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to jump, but it's definitely a thought like
Be right
that
back.
comes across. I would be scared to jump. But other than that, I don't really think I have any fears. I have fears of like, losing family members and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But actual like fears, I kind of like this sounds kind of crazy and it's going to get kind of deep, but like my dad passed away, but then my brother passed away too. And I was like, I don't want to say like, I almost felt like, okay, a lot of the fear was like dying, you know what I mean? But I'm like, bruh, fuck it. You know what I mean? I'm either going to be dead, you know what I mean? Be with them or be alive. So a lot of my fears just kind of went out the window. It's pretty crazy.
Dude, I don't have a fear of death, but like now that I feel like I have a purpose in life, I don't want to die.
Exactly.
So like when I get in those situations where things feel more, like when I was a kid, dude, I would get on a motorcycle or get on a dirt bike or get on anything and just act wild. Just my brother would tell you I've done some of the dumbest stuff on a Kawasaki KDX 420, at 11 years old riding a 420, just acting a fool just because I had no fear. And now I don't have fear, but I'm more cautious.
Right. I agree. Got
I'm
stuff
like,
to live for.
Yeah, like
Kids.
I want to see my grandkids one day. I want to see that life. And I think as you grow older, you get that feeling like I want to see what's at the end. Like I want to live to 90 years old. I want to be the honorary dude that tells you to stay off my lawn.
Hilarious.
I want to yell at you for your dog pooping on my yard. Now I'm the young guy in my neighborhood, right? So and I got all the honorary people around me because that's what Palm Coast is. But
That's funny. So this is my last question, and with real estate, and we were kind of talking about this with the gas tax and like Palm Coast and stuff, but how does Palm Coast fare with the rest of Florida and then also the rest of the country? As in, maybe is it harder or easier? Because I feel like because of all the codes, the homes value hold pretty well, and there's a good solid community.
yeah.
But I always see rates where it's like county rates are even different than other places' rates and stuff. That's a thing.
Yeah, so here in Palm or Flagler County, I'm going to compare the rates from Davidson County, which is Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
Me and my wife, we had a house. It was about $400,000 in Nashville, Tennessee, and the property taxes were about $800.
Wow. That's really cheap.
So it was cheaper for that area. When we moved to Gallatin, Tennessee, we had a house and it was probably about $180,000. But the property taxes in Gallatin, because it's similar to Palm Coast, but in Gallatin, everybody knows everybody and loves everybody, and there's not a mean person there. I don't think it was voted nicest city in the world.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but my taxes there were like three grand, and then when I moved here in 2020, my taxes were only like $2,600. And in Florida, they have that cool rule where they can only raise your taxes 3%. If they're gonna raise taxes, so that keeps my taxes pretty low in general. But if you try and compare Florida taxes to everywhere else, it's just completely different. In Jersey, you could have the same house that I have, but your taxes are $36,000.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
The home might be cheaper, easier to afford, but your taxes are just outrageous.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
they try and base it around average median income, average household worth, jobs. Jobs is huge, and that's why, in Flagler County, it's a lot cheaper to live than it is in like Dade County, because Dade County, you go there and you can make more money. You go to Bucky's here in Volusia County, you can make like $22 an hour or something. You go to Bucky's down in Dade County, you're gonna make $29 an hour.
Okay.
So it's cost of living increases wherever you're at.
That makes sense. Okay. And
Buggies.
But as far as Florida and their growth pattern, I mean, it's Florida. People want to come here. People want to come to the beaches. People want to go see Miami. People want to go to the Keys. People want to go to Disney or Universal Studios. People want to come here. People don't want to go to the mountains. Well,
Right.
people want to go to the mountains
Some
in
do.
Tennessee, but they don't want to go to like drive through that mountain like you do.
yeah.
Although the Tail of the Dragon is probably the most popular road in Tennessee.
Tail of the dragon.
Where it's like this.
It's 11 miles and like 300 turns.
I don't like that.
I don't know the exact number. Somebody's probably going to correct me on there, but
I definitely don't like
it's a lot of turns in a very short amount of time. And motorcycles and like sports cars will just drive.
Yeah, the mountain roads are crazy, man. Like me and the kids went to that Klingman's Dome or whatever, and the Smoky Mountains or whatever,
Gallatin or something.
and it was just like, and it wasn't around the mountain. It was on one side of the mountain, and it was just like,
Yeah, Gallatin.
Gatlinburg.
it was on, on the other side of the mountain, no,
Yeah.
from Gatlinburg.
Oh, that's like Cherokee, North Carolina.
Yeah, the Cherokee. Yeah, that's where we were at.
Pigeons Ford or something.
Yeah.
Well, that's on the other side too.
Yeah.
Cherokee's like on the east side.
I lived in Nashville for probably 12 years, and I'd never been to Gatlinburg. And my wife was like, "Oh, let's go." And I went out there, and there was like a little small bear, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go.
Wrestle it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go wrestle the bear because it was tiny."
That's what I said. I said I
I'm
can
like,
take a bear.
it's a little bitty bear. And her dad is like this huge country redneck dude, and he's like, "Don't you dare! It's got fingers as long as yours, or nails as long as your fingers."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No way!" And I
Oh,
get closer, and that little bitty bear stood up, and I was like, "Shoot, I'm out."
Yeah, they're pretty big too. Like,
Yeah.
That thing will claw us up though.
Yeah.
But I was like, bro, I'll crack back a bear.
Yeah, DDT him.
Yeah.
DDT him, and then run.
Man, well, Steven, the Florida mortgage guy, we really appreciate you coming
Yeah.
on the podcast. This is really fun.
Yep.
It was.
Appreciate you being the first one of the year, man. You know what I
Nice.
mean? I remember us saying that we were going to get this happen. I'm glad it
Yeah.
finally did happen. Gave a lot of good information out here. Do you have any final questions or anything?
No, I think we covered quite a bit. Yeah, it was a good podcast.
Yeah, man. I just want to tell everybody, follow Flagler Weekly. If you get involved, they do a lot. They share my stuff all the time. And I love you guys for that because we didn't even know each other, but I liked his content. He liked mine, and he's super supportive, always sharing my stuff. So I appreciate you guys for that.
Okay, thank you.
If
Yeah,
you want to follow me, Instagram, it's at the Florida Mortgage Guy, and then Facebook, it's just Steven with a PH Swarner. And if you ever need help with a mortgage, phone number is 386-627-6400. And my wife's a real estate agent. Just give me a call and I'll get you guys in contact.
Awesome. That's a good combo.
Yeah.
The agent's like, yeah. All right, guys. Appreciate everything. Peace out.